Welcome to the WMMA Today podcast. We are back. It's the resurrection.
Oh my God.
That is Drake, and I'm Steve. Hopefully, you guys are going to be entertained by some women's fighting news and a podcast only dedicated to women's fighting.
And we're live now, so you can leave comments and questions.
For
So
sure.
that's fun.
Yep.
Always
Okay,
fun.
so we'll start with the UFC 250 main event. It's a featherweight title fight. Amanda Nunez versus Felicia Spencer. That is this coming Saturday. Oh my goodness, we need fights so bad. I'm looking forward to this fight. Man, it's Felicia Spencer's a beast, dude. I think she's getting overlooked.
Oh yeah. I don't think there's any question about that. I know we've talked about this fight a little bit. We know I was making my guest appearance on, your other show,
Yep.
and talked about it a bit there. But yeah, now it's time to break this bad boy down. Felicia absolutely being underestimated, which, I mean, it's not surprising, right? Not at all surprising.
Yeah,
But I don't know. It's funny. Right before, about an hour ago, I was watching some stuff, and Luke Thomas, he appeared on Submission Radio. I'm assuming it was today. Either way, they put out a clip where he talked about it, and he said it pretty much perfectly. All right, so it kind of, I don't want to use his words completely because he really said it very well. I don't know if you
I
saw
mean you
this yet.
can because I think he's a respectable source.
Yes, of course. But he was pretty much saying that, making the comparisons to obviously Nunez is, you know, one of the greatest of all time, regardless of gender. So, the greatest female fighter of all time. And then he was making the comparisons to you look at Jones versus Reyes. People didn't expect Reyes to do as well as he did. Many people think he won. And then you compare like Reyes to Spencer in this case. Reyes isn't a big star, is what I'm getting at. It's not like, I guess Covington and Usman would be a good example of two guys who are, very, well known for their division, kind of
Right.
more star power pulled to them, bigger followings, right?
Yeah, for
So
sure.
he was making that comparison. And it's the people lately that you don't expect have been kind of showing out, right? And then
Yeah,
he
they have
also,
been.
a very good quote that he said was, what was it? He said that, this is just another day, another defense for Nunez, right? But this is the biggest moment in Felicia Spencer's life. And you're like, okay, when you weigh these
For
things,
sure.
just forget about like the matchup itself, which is also good and interesting, which we'll get into. But the elements around it, this is one of those weird moments. You look at the last couple events, all the underdogs have won. It's been a crazy stretch of things happening, right?
Yeah.
So
if you're
we'll
if
see.
you're a better and you're betting underdogs, this is a huge underdog bet. Felicia Spencer is because Amanda. I don't know what the newest odds are, but Amanda Nunes is. She's a beast when it comes to betting odds.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna be favored over her until she loses. Felicia Spencer is she's a massive underdog, and if you're betting, put your money on Felicia Spencer because she can do it, and she's really like she. Did you see that she said she can win all rounds?
Mm, that's
She's she said,
confident.
yeah, her confidence is sky high. She's a
Yeah,
very
I
confident
mean,
fighter.
you need that. Definitely need that for the
Well,
big fight, but
going up
in
against
general,
Amanda Nunes, you kind of have to be confident in yourself, you know?
yeah, yeah, definitely. And I mean, the thing about this too is, I've made this comparison personally. I don't know if we've talked about it, but when you look at the featherweight division, you think of Cyborg, obviously, and many of Cyborg's title defenses just throughout her whole career, not just the UFC, but the UFC specifically, bantamweight fighters going up, right? Cyborg defending her featherweight title against bantamweights. Felicia
Yeah,
Spencer, not a bantamweight, natural featherweight,
she's legit.
legit featherweight,
Yep.
one of the best featherweights in the world, top five, all that, she competed. We saw her compete with Cyborg, I mean, she
Yeah.
clearly lost, but she was competitive. Um,
She took Cyborg's punishment like a gangster.
she dished them back out. First
She
time
did.
Cyborg had ever been cut in a fight,
Yep.
which is really crazy to think about in hindsight. Um, So yeah, she's got the size definitely. I'm very interested to see how they look next to each other because I haven't seen that yet. I don't know if there's been any time they've been close to each other yet. But Felicia obviously very big, a natural featherweight, really. So the size makes things very interesting considering her style. You know, she's a black belt in jiu-jitsu and what is it, taekwondo? I always forget what her striking one is.
Is
Something
Yeah, I
kung
think it is.
fu. I don't know.
I think it
She's
is.
got yeah, she's dual black belt though in striking and grappling
Yep.
departments. So very well versed, but I still think that her grappling is a little bit better in her stronger suit, more comfortable on the ground, I would say. And I think that's obviously her best chance, best area to win this fight, where she'll probably want to take it. But Nunez also a black belt on the ground,
Right. And
which
she's
is
like
where it's
legit. She's a legit black belt. We don't see her.
yes,
We don't see her on the ground very often because she. I mean, look what she does to her opponents. She knocks them out. You know, she finishes it.
yeah, doesn't need to go to the ground,
She
but
doesn't need to.
it's going
But
to be really fun when it does. It's going to
yeah,
be really fun,
yeah.
assuming
I
it does.
I do see this fight going to the ground. At least, hopefully, it's not Usman and Covington where they're both
They're just
wrestlers
slugging it out.
and it didn't go to the ground at all. I was expecting that whole fight. I was waiting for it, like on edge. I wanted to go to the ground. I wanted to go to the
I
ground.
know. I know that was obviously an amazing fight, but I was so disappointed that there was no grappling at all.
Yeah, no,
It's
not at
like
all.
so bittersweet, but sweeter than bitter. But
Yeah, it was a great fight. I mean, it was a great fight. But I do have a feeling that this fight will go to the ground at least one time.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I mean,
I just don't see Felicia striking with Amanda the way that Cyborg tried to.
that's the thing, right? So I'm sure that she will try to strike in certain moments and all that. I
Yeah,
don't
she will.
expect her to pull, just a very aggressive, relentless takedown type fight, trying just desperately to get it thrown. I think she will definitely take some opportunities, but you said it right there. She's not going to try and strike like Cyborg. Cyborg just kind of threw everything out the window for, the Nunez fight, which cost her. And even if she didn't do that, Nunez still, would have been able to do things in a more patient, less wild fight. So, yeah, I think Felicia will be better off not just kind of being, blitzing and crazy, which that's not her style anyway. So I think we'll be fine with that. So she should be able to last and make things more interesting on the feet. Not that she'll, be able to win in that area because I cannot see that, but mix it up enough to where she'll make Nunez guess a little bit, at least more than Cyborg, if we're going to do that comparison.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree. I just, I'm really looking forward to this fight. I'm really glad that we decided to do this podcast again this week before the fight so that we can talk about this
Had
fight.
to.
No, I mean, it just made sense.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's, when I think of all the elements that like Luke Thomas was talking about and everything, it makes me want to think, man, Felicia, she's going to pull it off. But I don't actually feel it. I want it to be a really good fight, really close fight and all that. I think that it
Right.
will be closer than a lot of people expect, which doesn't say a lot, right? That doesn't say
Yeah,
very
no.
much. But no, I think it's a much better matchup than people give it credit for. That's I'm not saying much either. But in the end, I don't know. I think Nunez will win. Yeah, that's my pick. But I think it'll be a decision. I don't really see her finishing this one.
Um, I can't. Yeah,
It's
I'm
tough,
going.
right?
Yeah, I'm going Nunez. I think she finishes the fight somehow. Just until she gets beat, and she gets finished. I see her the one that's finishing.
Yeah,
Jermaine Durandamy
exactly.
did fight a good fight against her though.
No, yeah, she won every time. She was winning every time it was on the feet, right? Which that's
Oh,
not surprising either.
well, because she's
Um,
such a great striker.
yes, one of the best strikers out there.
Yeah.
And also, this was another thing. Amanda, she's getting ready to be a mother now. Not herself personally, not having the baby, but she is going to be a mom with her wife, Anina Ansaroff. So looking at
Right.
family stuff, there's more things kind of going on outside, it feels like, I don't want to say that this isn't the biggest thing
Don't say
for
it.
Nunez, this fight,
Don't say it.
but
She's
in comparison.
nah. She's focused. She's a focused fighter. She's not gonna let anything get in her way.
Yeah. But I
I
mean,
mean,
in comparison, though, is this more important to Nunez or Spencer, though? That's what I was getting at.
I mean, I think as far as legacy for Amanda Nunes, I think she needs to just run through all these girls.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean,
So,
there already aren't a lot of featherweights, so she has to beat them when they come up, when she has a legit opponent.
yeah. So, I don't know. It's going to be good. I think it's going to be good. But, can't go against the GOAT.
Yeah, I know.
So,
I betting wise, I would just because
it's a large gap.
yeah, just because of the odds. But
I don't have the odds up, but I think that Nunez is around like 600. I think
yeah, that's
about, and then Spencer's about 475 or something,
yeah. I mean,
something like that. It's pretty wide.
yeah. I mean, and you expect that from Amanda Nunes at this point.
Hmm. Yeah, no, she's definitely earned that kind of respect, and fine. She's getting a main event this time. It's kind of funny. You think about her and Cyborg were not the main event. I know we kind of complained about this around that time because we were doing the show back then, because that's kind of ridiculous. That was the first female super fight, right? And
Yeah,
not an interim title fight, but a vacant title fight
it was the vacant.
took over that. And then even UFC 245 against Durandamy, like, man, she's a double champ. She's the only double champ out of these 3 title fights. She should at least be co-main event, right? I mean,
You
Nunez
would
has
think so,
been,
but the UFC is weird with their
yeah,
placing the fights, and I don't know. They do some weird shit.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
But for
And I
sure,
mean, she has been a main event before, so
right.
I don't know.
This
I'm just going
definitely
off on a tangent.
this definitely deserves to be a main event for a pay-per-view. I don't know how many people are going to purchase it because of the times. The card is good. The card's decent. There aren't a lot big names. Aljamain Sterling and Corey Sandhagen's. That's a big fight. They you can
That should be the co-main event.
you can actually say that should be for the vacant title,
Yep.
but it isn't. And they're not going 5 rounds, unfortunately. That would have been great to see them go 5 rounds. But I don't know. I guess, and then there's a former champion, Cody Garbrandt, and his son Sal. It's another good fight.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it'll be a fun card, I think. I mean, it's kind of crazy, a little bit to get sidetracked here, but what, only 2 title fights coming up right now? Only 2 booked? This one and then
Peter Yan and
the
Jose Aldo.
bantamweight? Yeah. A lot of things are tied up right now, it seems like. But yeah, look forward to this one. We're on the same page, it seems, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to pick Felicia Spencer right now. I mean, I don't think that you or I would be completely shocked if Felicia Spencer won.
No.
I wouldn't. It wouldn't be the Holly Holm beating Ronda Rousey thing.
Yeah, no, it would not be. I mean, Felicia, I think, has proven herself a bit more, just like a little bit more than Holly. Like, if you're comparing those times when Holly was coming up, because I mean, when she made her UFC debut, even people didn't necessarily think she beat Raquel, which was a very close fight, in her debut.
Right.
And then Marion Renault right after that, which was a clear victory, good victory. Nothing super insane, but just like a win. She got a good win over a ranked person, and then she got the title shot, and oh man, nobody picked her. Massive upset. In hindsight, should not have been. People should have saw that coming stylistically, but it is what it is. So.
Should have seen it coming, but I mean, Ronda Rousey was just so dominant up until that point.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody thought she was going to armbar Holly again. You know, she was armbarring
Yeah.
everybody at that point in her career, but she didn't, and then Amanda Nunez ended up becoming the champion later on,
And here we are.
and here we are, one of the best fighters in the world, main eventing UFC 250. It's a big fight for women's MMA.
Mm-hmm.
MMA in general.
Yep. And that's the only one on 250 as well. So
Yeah. Yep.
not much of a breakdown for our return, in terms of how much to break down, but a
No,
big
but
one.
once we start rolling, these cards start filling up and stuff. We have a lot to talk about. We
I
will have a
mean,
lot to talk about.
when we were getting everything mapped out, I was like, oh damn, we got some coming up here, which pretty gonna get
Yeah.
rolling with these
No,
next 2 weeks.
June 13th and June 20th cards each have 3 and 4 women's fights each. That's a lot of women's fights coming up the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, so a lot to look forward to. That is for sure.
Definitely. Okay, so um, Julia Avila and Carroll Rosa, they were supposed to fight on the 13th, but Rosa is
Multiple
out.
times they've been booked.
Right. Yeah. This is what is it the third time or is it just the second time?
At least the second time. It might
I
be the
feel like
third,
it's
though.
three. Yeah. I feel like it's 3 times that they've tried to make this fight. It's kind of like the Namajunas and Andrade fight, or something
Yeah.
just keeps happening. I don't know why Carol Rosa's out.
Yeah,
But
reported by MMA Junkie, but no reason given.
Yep. Okay, so Mazzani,
Yep.
she's in.
What do you think about it?
Um, she's fighting Julia Avila, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that Julia Avila's a bad girl. I think that Avila wins. It's really hard for me to pick against her.
And everybody knows how I feel about Julia Avila, Raging Panda.
She's legit though, so that's actually a really good fight.
I mean, Mazzani, she went 1-3 in her first stint with the UFC.
Yeah,
Made that debut on short notice. I believe it was short notice against Sarah McMahon. She filled in for somebody, and ended up getting 1 win and then losing 2 and got cut. And then she got picked up a win in January. Now she's back. So this is going to be the second run for Mazzani. Just stylistically, this is just not a good one. I mean, of course, you take the opportunity, all that.
yeah, for sure.
And, I think just for even taking the fight, it could lead to her getting a second fight after this, no matter how she loses. I feel like the UFC likes fighters who are willing to step up, whenever
They definitely
Dana
do.
does, that's for sure.
That's
So,
why I like Angela Hill. She's like a favorite now
yes.
of the
yeah.
UFC's
Fem-
because she just
female
steps
cowboy.
up, and she even said again she's down to fight again. Like, dude, this would be literally her 5th fight or 4th fight in 2020 during a pandemic where 2 months out of the year we didn't have fights.
It's pretty ridiculous.
Angela Hill's a beast, dude.
Yeah, have madness. But as for this one, I'll take it. I'll take Avila getting to come back and fight again. It's been a year since her debut, because I think that she got injured.
She did.
For the first Rosa matchup, right? That's
Yep.
why it didn't happen. Was injury to her, and then they rebooked it for UFC Portland, which didn't happen.
Yeah.
And then now, so I'm pretty sure that's the timeline off the top of my head.
Third one, yeah.
So
It's
you know
fun.
what? Yeah, I'll take the Mazzani one for a replacement. Take any Julia Avila fight. I think
Yeah.
she's got future champion potential written all over.
She's
Just kind of
legit.
just depends on how how active she can be and all that. But she's definitely got it. If you haven't seen her, definitely pay attention. All right. So yeah, I'd be hard pressed to imagine her losing this one. But yeah, Mazzani is tough, like you said, just stylistically. I think she's gonna get ground out and
Yeah.
yeah, probably TKO round 2 in my opinion. Ground and pound.
Yeah, she's like a bulldog.
Avila.
Julia Avila is. She's a pit bull. She doesn't stop. She's a beast. I could see a knockout.
Yeah, I'll take it though.
Yep, for sure. Okay, so a strawweight rematch between two former champions. They fought before, Jessica Andrade and Rosa Namajunas at UFC 251 on July 11th. This is what their third time trying to make this fight.
The rematch,
The rematch?
yeah, maybe at least a second time.
Because they were supposed to be on the UFC 249 card, and then that got canceled. And then they tried to make another card, but then Rose Namajunas for the UFC 249 the second time.
Yes, okay,
Rose Namajunas, a couple family members got ill with the COVID-19, and they ended up dying. So this is the third time they're making this fight. The rematch.
Yeah. I mean, it's the fight to make, honestly, right? I mean, if we're gonna match these two with anybody,
Oh yeah.
I'm still kind of surprised that Rose. I just realized that in this, I want to fix that in my OCD real quick. Rose is not listed in here. I'm just kind of surprised that she's still taking the fight at all because things are still happening and whatnot. But yeah, it's the fight to make, and I believe I don't know if this is the first one, but the July is when they're gonna start going to Fight Island.
Yep, that's what.
This
that's
is
what
UFC 251.
But it's weird though. In one of his interviews, he was talking about going to Fight Island in June, and
yeah, late June, I think.
Yeah, late June or something like that. So, what is that going to be? The 20th card, the 27th card, or do they start the July 11th card, UFC 251?
There are still unknowns about all the scheduling and stuff. Like,
yeah,
like what are we gonna call all of these cards going forward if they're all in Vegas? Like the fight nights.
Yeah, UFC Apex, UFC Vegas, UFC
Nevada. Right.
UFC Sin City.
Yeah, just all these different names to be different. But yeah, this fight, very interesting. Each coming off of title losses, right? I mean, for Rose, it was this fight.
It was
the first fight with Andrade,
yeah.
which over a full year ago now, because that was May of last year.
Man,
and then
you go back, like, I don't think I've watched that fight in a long time. Her stand-up was phenomenal in that first round.
Yeah, I mean, I remember after that one happened, and we were talking about it was such a masterclass kind of in that first round. It was. I presented this point of if it was the best performance a fighter's best performance of their career that just so happened to be in a loss, like the best they ever looked was in a loss, right? Yeah. It was she was just so on point, and I rewatched that one maybe like last month or 2 months ago because of quarantine and I want to see crazy stuff. Yeah. So yeah, dude, it's gonna be really interesting to see. The thing is, Rose shouldn't have to change much about her approach, right? Because it worked. Everything worked except she just hung on to that Kimura. In the grab when Andrade gets close, that's what she needs to change. Maybe just avoid that completely. Don't even play in that area. So I think it'll be this fight. This rematch will come down to more on how Andrade wants to approach it, because her approach in that fight too was to be more cautious, in that first round. It just ended
Yeah.
up going so badly that she kind of needed to push it a little bit harder in the second, and she did, and it ended up working out. So that makes you think, all right, is she just going to bulldoze like normally this time around?
I don't know. We'll see
Maybe.
because it didn't work for her against Wiley John.
Yeah, exactly. So a little bit of a different case there. I don't think that the result that Nama Yunus can replicate that exact same kind of outcome and the quickness that Wiley did.
Yeah.
But you never know. We'll see. I think this is obviously something they've been able to prepare for a little bit longer now. Maybe Andrade a little bit more
For a
than Rose,
long
just because
time.
Rose has had her mind in other places
Yeah.
even before this was remade. But I'm super excited for it, dude. I mean, how could you not be?
Yeah, for sure. 100% excited for it. Um,
So,
I I thought that this was the fight that they should have made anyway. Keep trying to book it until they get into that octagon and they fight.
yeah, exactly. The strawweight Tony interview, except it'll actually happen.
Really just looking forward to Tatiana Suarez coming back.
That too. That too. That'll be very nice. Hopefully, the neck is getting better. That's taking a while,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's a very serious body part.
Oh yeah. I
you
mean,
know,
yeah. She's out
no need to
for
rush.
a reason. She's not just sitting out because she's sitting out. She's out for a reason,
Yeah,
a
exactly.
legit reason.
So that is a good one, and I know you like this one
I do.
because it's your
I
girl.
love this one. I mean, I think we will probably our separate ways with this fight. I'll never pick against Carla Esparza. So Carla Esparza and Marina Rodriguez are set to fight July 15th. Cookie Monster's back.
Relatively quick. What was her fight? Was last month, wasn't it? I mean,
Against
that's
Delia, yeah.
yeah, not a crazy. No, Carla versus Watterson.
Oh, Waterson.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, Marina was supposed to fight Claudia. Yeah.
That's right. Yep.
Um, and since she didn't get to, I'm very happy that they still gave her a fight like this.
It's a good fight
Somebody who's
for Marina.
yes, a very. And the thing is, I mentioned this right when this was made. I think this fight was announced like yesterday, this week though, a pretty fresh one. And as she continues to climb the ladder at strawweight, she's gonna have to keep going through, better and better wrestlers. That's just how it is, because she's been perfect in her UFC career to this point. She's won every single round except for two against Calvillo and Randa Marcos. And in those 2 rounds, she got beaten very, very clearly because of her opponent's wrestling that resulted in 10-8 rounds, which then led to 2 draws. So that's obviously where she needs to work because no one's
Yeah.
been her opponents haven't been able to handle her striking whatsoever. She's just looked sensational in the striking department against everybody so far, her 4 opponents, and she can easily look very good against Carla as well. Very superior in
Yeah.
that aspect.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Marina Rodriguez is going to be the better striker in this fight. Carla Esparza absolutely has to use her wrestling. She has to get Marina Rodriguez on the ground, up against the cage, use her wrestling and body her pretty much. She's not going to be able to strike with Rodriguez.
No. Just the reach and the length is really not in her favor here.
Right, no.
The size overall, which I don't think will be much of a factor for Carla because she's such a good wrestler, that she should be able to get past somebody who's lankier and bigger. It's kind of Marina is a similar body type to like Juliana Lima, who
Yeah.
Carla has beat before. So I don't think that should be a problem, but it's kind of an interesting talking point to think about. If let's assume that Marina's only drilling just like takedown defense and working on her grappling, which, why not? And then you think about the size difference. I think that could make things. That would probably be her best approach, right? Because you don't need to worry about the striking really. So yeah, no, I think this is perfect matchmaking. I really like this. I'm not exactly sure where Marina's ranked. She might be like 12, but
No, she's
still
9.
undefeated. Oh, she's up to 9 now. Okay.
She's 9 and Carla's 6
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, I'm very happy with this
or
one.
7.
Unlike,
7.
yeah, unlike a matchup that we'll be getting to here in a bit. But yes, I'm happy with this one being made.
Yeah. So you're picking Marina Rodriguez, obviously, right?
I'm not gonna make final predictions yet till fight week, but I am definitely. It's really hard, man. This is kind of a toss up for an early prediction. I'm leaning slightly towards Marina just because it's like she knows what she has to avoid, you know.
Yeah.
So, and then she's just so superior in the striking that I have to lean a little bit towards her. She just looks so good in that area. But
Yeah.
I can't wait for it.
I'll never pick against Carla. That's just what it is with me. Unless if it's against friggin', Rose Namajunas or something, or Wiley Jong,
Yeah.
but
Or something realistic.
yeah. But Marina Rodriguez, she's legit, so it's a really good fight. Okay, so a bantamweight fight, Beth Correa and Penny Kinzad, July 25th, and Correa is still ranked number 13.
Bantamweight's a little ugly.
When I was going through the rankings, I guess Tuesday or Wednesday, Tuesday, I was like, why is she still ranked?
I mean,
but like you said, it's the bantamweight division, so it's not, it's not absolutely stacked.
You forget that she beat Sijara in September.
I didn't forget that, but
I did.
I just don't think that she should be ranked.
Yeah, no. I mean, bantamweight is rough. Nico's ranked at bantamweight, isn't she? I'm pretty sure.
Is she ranked? She's ranked number 15.
I'm pretty sure she's.
I think she's 15.
She's back there. And,
well, honestly, the rankings don't mean shit anyway.
No, they do not. But it's still funny to look at. It's still funny to look at. And I don't remember seeing the announcement for this fight either. But must have missed it whenever it was. But yeah, I'm fine with this. I know that Penny kind of wanted this one too, so it's kind of cool that she's getting that.
Yep.
Should be a pretty good, fun fight. I think that Penny, she didn't get enough credit really for how good she looked against Jessie Jess in their rematch the last time she fought in
she looked phenomenal.
November, and on the Russia card looked very good. Was hitting hard, was looking really crisp. Like,
yep.
It especially when you think back to like their first fight. And I mean, they both obviously have improved, but when you like look at each fight one after the other, it's like, god damn, they both took those levels up. But obviously, one level for somebody somebody beat that person earlier, and then they both improved. Of course, they're still gonna beat them in the rematch. That's kind of how it looked. But yeah, this one should be very fun. Striking match only. I mean, Betch kind of likes to just get in there and brawl if she can. And it's still able to, be good enough to pull things out. And we might, I feel funny saying this, might be sleeping on her a tiny, tiny bit. She's not going to be champion. She's not going to break the top 10. Shaking your head. But think about it. Okay, think about it. We were both very, very surprised. Already thought about it very much. We were both very surprised that she was on her way to beating Irene Aldana, dude. She was on her way, which fluky maybe. She didn't win, right? She got armbarred. So I'm just saying. I'm putting
Aldana would piece her up right defense. Now. If they fought again, Aldana would piece her up.
Yeah, it would be ugly.
She just doesn't belong in the damn rankings.
She should try and cut to flyweight. I mean, she's had trouble making bantamweight, but
I honestly think that she should cut to flyweight. But she has that big ass. So I mean, it's not that's where her weight's at. She's like stocky. She's like a Jessica Andrade type.
Bottom heavy.
Yeah, she's like a Jessica Andrade type. She's like a bulldozer.
just not as quick or talented. Not
Obviously, like she's not the same as Jessica Andrade. She's not the same fighter, but she's like the same build, just taller.
dude, it's funny to think that we could have seen that fight at a point. Because Andrade used to be a bantamweight. We could have saw them fight.
It's crazy to even think that Jessica Andrade was a bantamweight.
I know. It's like 5'1".
Yeah, she's tiny, dude.
Put some respect on Jessica Andrade while you're at it, everybody. But yeah, back to the matchup: Panty versus Betch. I'm fine with it. They're both at the back end. I don't think Panty's not ranked because Panty should be ranked over Nico, who didn't win when she came back. As much as we love Nico, silly, kind of silly. Yeah, I favor Panty in this one because she just looks so good and she's turning a new leaf, I think, here. But Betch will make it competitive. I will say that. I'm not going to pick her. I don't pick Betch in many matchups anymore, if I ever did. But she always proves me wronger than I expected to be. I'll put it that way. I always think she's going to get washed pretty good, and then she ends up hanging in there and finding some success. So I'll say that.
I mean, she's a down fighter. Like she's really hard to put down, but I think Panty will do it. I think she'll find a way. Her striking was really good, like what you were saying earlier. Mm-hmm. Her striking was really good. She really she looked phenomenal. Honestly, she looked great.
Yeah.
Against Jessica Rose Clark.
Mm-hmm.
So I have Panty winning.
Yeah, I do too. As we make our early picks here.
A strawweight fight: Liviana Souza versus Ashley Yoder, August 15th. Neither of them are ranked, right? No.
Nope, no, but we both know that Souza should be, and that's why I hate this. I was so upset to see this fight made today. This is one of those that drives me crazy. Just Souza's entire UFC career, really, to this point, the matchmaking has driven me a bit crazy. I mean, she's only had 3 fights still, but yeah. I mean, we both remember how livid I was at her debut being against Alex Chambers. Just a ridiculous squash match, essentially. And that's what it ended up being. Wow, surprise. And then she gets Sarah Frota, which that was just kind of a whole bunch of weirdness. And then Brianna Van Buren, which didn't agree with that one necessarily being made either, but much better matchmaking. And Van Buren, legit. We knew that before. Yoder is just... I mean, when you look at each of these fighters, Souza, former champion, a top 15 worldwide, if you are paying attention, just people who everyone who knows about her knows that she's one of the better strawweights, and should be getting legit matchups. Like, I don't know, man. I don't want to put people down again. We were just talking about Betch and having a little bit of fun there, but Yoder, she's one of those fighters who's been, I don't want to say a gatekeeper because it's kind of been not that necessarily. It's just kind of been, I don't know how to describe it, but it doesn't make sense to me. I don't like it. I think that Souza should get somebody better. If I'm okay with it at all, it's because she's coming off a loss. And when was that fight with Van Buren? Was last July?
Yeah, it was almost a year ago now. Holy shit.
Yeah, crazy.
But when you think about it, the way that they're making fights right now, they're just taking whoever can fight and whoever's available.
True. That is very true. So that makes me, when you think about it that way, less upset. Because, like when we were talking about the champions thing, there's only 2 title fights booked or whatever because everybody's kind of scattered and can't get their fights made right now. That's the whole reason Habib didn't fight.
That's the thing. We might actually see once Fight Island is real and like wherever the hell it's at, we don't know.
Yes.
We might actually see like the world champions, from all over the world, rather than whoever's here in America fighting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, how many we got? Maybe Jones, I'm thinking of who the American champions are right now. We got Stipe, he's fireman.
Yeah.
Um, there's Stipe. There's Jones. Maybe that's a whole other topic. Middleweight, no. Welterweight. I mean, he lives here.
Usman.
Then yeah, and
Usman's in
then
Florida.
yeah. So featherweight, no. Volkanovski is not here. Bantamweight, vacant. Might not end up being what Jan and Aldo both are not American.
Yeah, that's going to be on Fight Island. You would assume, right?
Yeah, has to be.
That was the problem with Aldo the first time. He couldn't make it to America. That's why Dominic Cruz ended up fighting Henry Cejudo.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, when you put it that way, they're just kind of putting things together how they have to be, which
Yeah.
is kind of the next UFC card's main event, which we will talk about next week. Don't know how you feel about that one. I and Calvillo, we'll talk about I here next. But yeah, this should be definitely a good. This should be a good showing for Souza.
I think so. I think she wins.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
she's good. She should be ranked. She's good enough to beat Yoder.
I mean, Yoder, though, if we're gonna, make some more comparisons to, let's say, I guess Betch, since we just talked about Betch, she is a fighter who will hang in there and kind of, she's tough.
Yeah.
She will be in the fight, but how much success she'll have, I just can't see it being much against somebody who's proven to be more superior, in pretty much every area throughout their career and fought in championship fights and just had overall more success. So
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of hard not to pick Souza though.
yeah, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah. Okay, so Jessica she has a main event, right? On June
I
13th.
I
On June
don't know
13th.
if
She has a
it'll be
main event.
main event.
Yeah, it's the main event against Cynthia Calvillo.
Oh, right. I thought you were okay. Right, never mind.
And then 8 days later, she'll be in a grappling match at Submission Underground 15 on June 21st against Amanda Lowen. That's pretty ballsy of her to take a grappling match, and it's going to be the co-main event against a really phenomenal grappler in Amanda Lowen. I mean, she might be taking 2 L's in a week.
Well, she's definitely taking one in 2 weeks from now. She's not beating Amanda Lowen. That's just
Right.
that would be incredible. I'm saying that right now. That would be absolutely stunning. That is, if I don't know if I've ever been so confident in something. I mean, not to get extreme, but a lot of people still don't know who Amanda Lowen is, and rightfully so. She's primarily a grappler.
Yeah.
Black belt. She's an amateur featherweight and a champion. But I've talked to her. She's here in Portland, the Portland area, lives here. So,
She's at
I've talked to her in
SPG,
person.
right?
She was at SPG, but they had to let her go for some silly reason. So now she's with 10th Planet Portland.
Okay.
But either way,
The 10th Planet system's better for her probably anyway. I mean,
yeah, it was something about teaching weird or something like that. But anyway, she's just another level compared to, if you're an MMA fighter coming in, you're not gonna beat her. She's been competing at the highest level for years now, and she was gonna be matched up with Roxy initially before the quarantine happened for I don't know, what was it, Sug 13 maybe, which that would have been a fun one, Roxy.
Yeah, because Roxy's really good on the mat. So
yeah, solid grappler herself, and I hope that we do get to see that one day. But
be fun.
still, I'm not picking against Lowen.
It's kind of
yeah,
like if you watched Daniel Kelly and Pearl Gonzalez. I don't remember what event that was at. Daniel Kelly is great.
Yeah.
she's a great jiu-jitsu fighter. Pearl Gonzalez is an MMA fighter. Danielle Kelly schooled her. I think that's what is going to happen here with Amanda Lowen and Jessica Eye.
Yeah, that's why it's so crazy to me. When I saw this, I was like, oh boy, I don't know if she knows what she's getting herself in for. But then again, I was
weird
like,
because it's 8 days difference
yeah,
from her actual MMA fight.
yeah. And so I was thinking also, like, I won't be surprised if this doesn't even happen. Like, if she ends up pulling out because of, even
Injury.
if she, yeah, injury. I mean, if I think she's crazy enough to still do it, if she takes a lot of damage against Calvillo, but I mean, yeah, a 5 round fight too. We forget that she's going to be in the main event and has a much more higher chance of, you know, wearing herself down before going to compete against probably the toughest person she could have possibly gotten a grappling match right now. You know, like literally, probably. So yeah, it's really crazy. I mean, props to her for taking it at all. It's really insane.
Yeah, it's
But
kind of crazy. When I saw it, I was like,
somebody
when I saw the fight card, the graphic,
the poster,
the poster. Yeah, I couldn't think of the word. The fight poster. I was like, what? How? And then I looked at the date, and I was like, what the hell? 8 days after her actual like UFC fight, and against Amanda Lowen, that's tough.
When I saw it, I did the the Antonio Banderas gif where he's looking at the computer and he's all I was like, oh, that is brutal.
It's true though. Like that. That's
I love watching Lowen though, so I'm fine
yeah,
with it.
she's definitely entertaining.
Yeah, and a great personality too. Shameless plug on the first episode back. Check out the interview I did with Amanda Lowen on my YouTube channel or my MMA News.
What would the show be without a shameless plug by Trey?
I know, right? I know. What would
it only took you almost an hour.
I know. I'm surprised I didn't drop one from my Marina Rodriguez chat that I did like
I was
2 weeks
thinking
ago.
that you were because I knew that you did that one, and I was like, I know he's gonna do it. I know he's gonna do it. And you never did it. So I'm like,
Surprised you.
Maybe
Here it is now.
Maybe this is the new break.
No. Same old.
But it's not.
Check that one out too, because we talked about the quarantine and all that. She still wants a Gadelia fight, but don't have to wait for that, obviously. So yeah, Lowen is not going to lose, essentially.
Absolutely
if it happens.
Yeah, if it even happens, right. So we have UFC 250 the main event is the featherweight championship. Amanda Nunez, the greatest of all time, against Felicia Spencer, who is a heavy underdog. If you're a betting person, put your money on Felicia Spencer. It's worth a shot.
Yeah. Throw down anything. Throw down $1. I know they won't let you do that, but I'm just saying.
Bet $10. Drake and I will be back with the WMMA Today podcast on next Tuesday. We will be doing these on Tuesdays from now on. And we would like to thank you for watching, listening. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Until next time.
Peace, y'all.